for sharing this with us. It's a story that the public must know. And it's happening all over Connecticut. In fact, it's happening all over the United States. And you are a great hero to tell us this. Now, what is your summary?
My summary is the court never asked the direction because I was never served with a summon. All those documents are fake, are forged, fraud, and the court participate in it. Many judges participate in it, and I sued them before in a civil court, Washington Street in Hartford. After 2 years, a judge threw it out. I turned around.
Name of the judge, please.
Caradino, I think. Caradino, I'm not 100% for sure, but I think.
Okay, let's look at the chart. Can you find his name? Names of the judges are very important because they're the bad actors. From Milford, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Then I turned around, after he threw it out of court, I turned around and sued them all in federal court. I filed it in Hartford.
In the United States District of Connecticut.
Yeah.
In Hartford. Start immediately, and Harry had a heart attack. There was a few shocks. The next day, they got a telephone call, and the uncle said, "I'm returning the boy. Send the earthquake." Mr. and Mrs. Johnson said to their teenage children that they were about to celebrate their 20th anniversary. And the children says, "What do you want for your anniversary?" And Mr. and Mrs. Johnson said, "Our own telephone." Two little boys were on an escalator for the first time. They were watching it and watching it and watching it. One little boy said to the other one, "What happens when the basement fills up with steps?" And one little boy said that his aunt had rented a new kind of an apartment. He says, "I think they call it a pandemonium." Ed says, "We named our son after my wife's father." "Really? What did you name him?" "Pop." And the kindergarten teacher says, "There's one thing, children, that we can all be thankful for. Well, I think it was a preschool. That was it. It was a preschool class. And the teacher said, "There's one thing we can all be thankful for. We are all free." And the little boy says, "I am not free. I am for." You heard about the couple who had identical twin girls? They named them Kate and Duplicate. The lawyer says, "It gives me a grand and glorious feeling to dispense legal advice." And the client says, "That's right. You give him a grand and he feels glorious." Two cars collided. A third car drove up. A man got out and he said, "I saw the whole thing happen. I'm a lawyer. I'll take either side." And remember, folks, if you can't get a lawyer who knows the law, then for heaven's sakes get one who knows the judge. The lawyer said to the judge, "I move for a new trial on the basis of new evidence." The judge says, "What's the new evidence?" The lawyer says, "I just found out my client has another $10,000. This is Glendora, a cheerful look at life. Brought to you by Folks, look at this. I am trying to get a good index for the Glendora Franklin Museum. The public access pro se newspaper museum. And I went through box 10.6 because the old index really wasn't clear as to what was in box 10.6. And look what I found. I found a TC set. And I came home and I put 4 batteries in it. And the last time that I saw this TV set would easily be the year 2000, 6 years ago. I came home and put 4 AA batteries in it. And it started making a noise. Oh look, here's a picture. We'll see if we can get it more clearly. And so what do you get on it? Bad news. There's a TV show. Oh, it's people having a fight. That's no good. Pray for those people. Kind of cute, isn't it? Oh, Sony's so smart. Sony is so smart that they put out this camcorder that you're looking at. And they put out a book, folks, that is this thick, and there's about, I would say, 200 to 300 functions that this camcorder can do, like being plugged into a computer, and here's all these complex directions. But you know, Sony is so smart. Not only can they figure out 300 things to make a camcorder do, but they got an easy cam button, an easy record button, and an easy playback button. You push that, and you don't have to do all those buttons. Okay, now we're going to try to cheer you up because we're going to make you perfect. Hat that Mary Ramage got me. Mary Ramage is my signer in the Yorktown system in Mohegan Lake. She bought one of these at the Goodwill, and she brought another one, a purple one. And I'm going to give Maureen Mooney the purple one. She wants a new hat for Easter, but she's afraid to do it. You know, women haven't worn hats for so long they're afraid to wear them. Let's see what the Happy Book says. This is the Glendora Happy Book. We picked a page at random here. Page 22, and it says the track, and it says, excuse yourself from the people you're with and leave with your book. Your book would be your joy book. And your notebook. And your daily schedule sheet. That's inside of your book. And for instance, go to the restroom, read your little book for a minute or two, but don't read anything on the walls, and so keep yourself in touch with right thought. Now that's terrific. That is good. That is good. Don't leave right thought. Don't leave your oneness with God. Don't stay away too long. Remind yourself what the big things in life are that you seek. What are they, folks? What are the big things in life that you seek? Number one, to be the greatest person that you can possibly be. That would be number one. Because when you're the greatest person you can possibly be, you're out there helping others to be the greatest persons that they can possibly be. How's that? Doesn't that make you feel good? Doesn't that give you strength and cheer already? And you're out there being kind to the animals, and you're out there being kind to people. Now that's a good thing. Don't stay away too long from your oneness with God. That's not right. You have to be one with God all the time. Well, one thing that helps you do that is to rejoice every 15 minutes. It's 1:34 p.m. and I rejoice that we have you. That together you and I are making the world better. So folks, you're looking for something, aren't you? You can't find it, can you? You're looking for something. You're looking for peace, success, health. You're looking for wealth. You're looking for prestige. You're looking for applause. You're looking for love. You're looking for affection. You're looking for joy. And you can't find it, can you? You're looking here, you're looking there, you're looking all over the place. I got a secret. I know where it is. You want to be your highest self? You want to use the 100% of you. You're limping along at maybe 52%. And you want to be 100%. So let's go. Let's go out and find what it is that you want. You feel that you're out of control, don't you? You feel that you don't control your life. You feel like your strings are being pulled. Well, I got the secret. I get the secret. You want to tune in another chat with Glendora and find out what that secret is? What number of chat with Glendora is this? I never get this right, but I'm going to guess that this one is number 4000. $259, 5th edition. You think I came even close to that? You want me to tell the secret to you now? Or do you want to tune in a later show? Well, we know what it is, and we know that it will work for you. And we know that you're looking in all the wrong places. You're looking for it in driving around in a car. You're looking for it and going up down the water in a boat. Not today, since we have about 7 inches of snow here and about 22 inches down in Bronx County, New York County, and Westchester County. You're looking for it in other people. You're looking for it in church. You're looking for it in Walmart. You're looking for it in the clothing stores. But you don't find it, do you? You come up empty every time, don't you? Okay, you want to hear the secret? Okay, that's my job, to cheer you up. Here's the secret. You sit down alone with God the first thing every day. And you put that first. And what do you do in that time? You listen to God. And God tells you how well He made you. And God tells you that you're different and better in a way than any other human being he's created. And then you begin to feel strong. And then you begin to feel like you're going in the right, as if you're going in the right direction. I want to tell you folks, we make our own problems. So the solution for that is you say, I was wrong to do that. I admit that I was wrong to do that. I'm sorry I was wrong, I did that. And I want to make good for it. I want to go out and make good for it. I want to do restitution. And I'm repenting, and I also want to reform. I don't ever want to do that again. Clean yourself all out inside so that you're nice and squeaky clean inside. Breathe on us, breath of God, fill us with life anew, that we may do as thou wouldst do, and love as thou wouldst love. Or, breathe on us, breath of God, until our hearts are pure, until that earthly part of us glows with thy fire divine. And what else do you do? You pray for your enemies. Now that's hard, isn't it? Oh, it's so hard to pray for your enemies. So you sing them a song, such as the song I just sang you. Fill our hearts with joy and peace. You're praying for your enemies. Let them each thy love possessing, triumph in redeeming grace. That's easy, isn't it? Say that about your enemies. Oh, refresh us, traveling through this universe. And you count pure thoughts all day and see how many you can get. Get up to 500. Don't think about anything negative, anything second level, anything trivial, anything ugly. Just don't think about it. Now that TV set that I turned on just a few minutes, it's full of that. It squirms with it. Don't let that stuff into your head. Keep your thought pure. Think about all the good stuff. That TV stuff, that all costs money. But the good stuff, that's free. What's the matter with us? We don't know enough between choosing what is good and free and what is bad and costs money. Do you have any thoughts? Call me up on my new telephone answering service, which I'm going to eliminate. I have Verizon and I'm going to get MCI. Because Verizon charges 9 cents for every call that comes in. Call me up and tell me your thoughts. I'll talk them over with you. You got to get a little devotional. As I say, you can get one at any church, or I think Joyce Myers has one, and I think I use the Daily Bread, which is the radio Bible ministry. Oh, it's great. And you're going to be happy all over. And you're going to be full of love, and you're going to be adjusted, and you're going to be healthy, and you're going to have that happiness, that joy, that strength, that confidence, that calm. And you're going to have and be rich and famous and popular and successful and great and respected and admired and cheered and applauded. History, politics, and the world. The one who really has that, of course, is God. So that was my job, to cheer you up, and I'll continue to cheer you up. Here's a good song to sing to everybody. Open our eyes that we may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hand that wonderful key that will unclasp and set us free. Silently now we wait for thee. Ready our God, thy will to see. Open our eyes, illumine us, Spirit divine. And I don't think God wants you to be a servant. I don't think God wants you to be in humility. I think God wants you to be a partner. And I think God wants you to serve God and be a partner with God every minute of the day in great pride, in great enthusiasm, in great confidence, and in great power. You know, these words that I tell you about, I have 249 favorite words. And one of them is admirable, and its definition is evoking qualities that make wonder. Now apply that to God. Evoking qualities that make wonder, united with approbation, and deserving the utmost esteem. How's that for your relationship with God? Folks, here's some interesting figures. Franklin and Glendora from 1937 through the year 2005 spent $95,000 for office rent and $91,000 for groceries. Now, how much do you think you have spent for groceries in your life? Car repair, $82,000. Refunds, $68,000. One-time only personal, $68,000. Non-employee compensation, $48,000. That's entirely wasted. I learned from that if you want to do something, if you want something done, do it yourself. Postage, from 1937 through 2005, $47,000. Gasoline, $44,000. Technical equipment, that would be cameras, tripods, videotape, $42,000. Printing, copying, $38,000. FICA, that's what the government took out of Franklin's paychecks, $38,000. Videotaping, $31,000. Office supplies, $28,500. Lodging, $28,000. Donations receipted, that'd be $30,000 rounded off. Now again, folks, these are the lifetime figures. Franklin and Glendora from 1937 through 2005. Now, what are your figures for these things? Vegetarian hamburger, the best there are, Fry Pat, by Worthington Foods. Unfortunately taken over by Kellogg's, but not yet ruined by Kellogg. Meatless meat, soybeans, delicious, no cholesterol, no arthritis. Appellant's brief, Supreme Court, State of New York. Glendora Plaintiff Appellant versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan MacBudil, Thomas Garger, Charles A. Forma, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli, Peggy Anderson, Robert M. Callagay, Sally Stevens, Burke and Burke, and Patricia Langelotti, defendants appellees. Collating has started. I think 100 pages. This much has been collated. There's 21 sets, and this has to be collated. Hey folks, legal paper number 4 out of 12 this week to Glendora from the White Plains City Court, Mr. Paul Friedman, Small Claims Court. It's a notice from him that on the lawsuit Glendora versus Cecilia Masterilli, Tabatsalaco, and Officer Lewis, Peekskill Police, please be informed that on February 6, 2006, the above captioned record on appeal was mailed to the Appellate Term Supreme Court, 2nd Judicial Department, 9th and 10th Judicial Districts, 141 Livingston Street, Brooklyn. Kindly wait at least 1 week from the above date before contacting the appellate term. Concerning your case, you did this fast. Thank you for the notice. Glendora, February 12th. I doubt very much, folks, that Satellite Cablevision Cecilia will perfect this appeal. Folks, you remember this? Omnibus memorandum by Glendora to the court, together with motion for summary default of judgment, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, on arrogant James Reynolds defendants. Well, you have to send a copy to all parties. And this went to United States District Judge Torres, who's a defendant, and to a clerk, DiMarzio, and to a former clerk, Flanders. I hope this ended Flanders' stay in the federal court in Providence. No, it didn't. And maybe the intake clerk. And it also went to Judges Lisi and Magistrate Alman. And instead of handling it, their job is to handle legal papers. And instead of handling it properly, they just sent it back to me. Well, you know what to do in that case. You get a great big 9x12 envelope and you write the whole case on it, on the outside where everybody can read it. You were sued for violating the United States Code. You didn't know Title 28 U.S. Code, Section 636. No magistrate can touch Glendora's lawsuit without her consent in writing. And when you were sued, you tried to get out of it by making believe that Glendora filed the suit against you in your court, when in big letters the caption page said the United States District Court, Idaho. And when you came into default, not knowing how to handle your own lawsuit when your career is handling lawsuits. You returned the motion for default judgment to Glendora. This is more ineptitude and loss of skill, and Glendora's motion for judgment by default against you is now being returned to you, and the record of what you have done now goes before the judge in the Idaho court where Glendora sued you. And this is to that judge, Mary M. Lisi, and to that magistrate, Lincoln D. Allman, in the United States District Court, Providence, Rhode Island. And it's 1 Exchange Terrace. You can look at this and see who the defendants are very, very quickly. Lisa, Mary M. Lisi, and Lincoln D. Allman. All parties have to be served. Now they attached a note. And here's what the note said. This is, this is just plain misrepresentation. Return. Their case number is an Idaho case number. P. There's somebody else who ought to be sued. Okay, let's sue Mr. or Mrs. P. Vegetarian hamburger, Fry Pat, by Worthington Foods, taken over by Kellogg. So far, Kellogg's hasn't ruined it. But with potato chips, and with a little bit of sliced onion, and a little bit of cabbage with a little bit of Italian dressing on it. And I guess we'll have a pickle with it, and mustard. And .com doesn't like mustard, and she doesn't like pickles. She likes a potato chip or two. But now, .com wants yeast on hers. Brewer's yeast. Okay. We're all ready for lunch. So here it is. Would you like one? I'll make one for you. And here's .coms with the yeast on it. Franklin and Glendora, since 1937 through to 2005, spent $10,629 in donations unreceipted. State withholding from 1937 through 2005 was $28,000. Clothes, $26,000. My goodness, state withholding was more than clothes. Airfare, $25,000, $26,000 rounded off. Meals, that's while we were on the road looking for business, $23,000. Gifts, $17,000. Household, $12,000. Display ads, $11,000. We put an ad in the New York Times for Glendora TV ads. Telephone personal, $9,800. Newspapers, $8,600. Cleaners, $7,400. Lunches, that would be Franklin at work, $7,200. Laundry, $5,700. Garages, $5,700. Electric personal, $5,400. Tolls, bridge tolls at all. Highway tolls, $4,700. House gas, $4,400. This is from 1937 to 2005. Bus taxi, $4,400. Office electric, $4,400. Products for resale, $4,400. Medical, $41.83. That's for Band-Aids. I don't remember spending any money on a doctor. Well, there must have been some. Dentist, $31.28. Parking, $2,800. HABA, that's health and beauty aids. That would be Pond's cold cream, $22.66. Disability taken out of Franklin's salary, $1,400. House gas, $1,200. Haircuts, $800. SDI taken out of his salary, $635. Money order bank fees, $565. Park personal, $362. Products for promotion, $290. Mileage paid to others, $275. Sales tax, $158. Help wanted, $915. Those figures are from 1937 to 2005, Franklin and Glendora. There were earthquake tremors, and Bob and Joan decided to send their son deep into the interior where he would be safe. And they sent him to an uncle. The next day they got a call from the uncle, said, "I'm returning the boy, send the earthquake." In Christ there is no east or west, in him no south or north, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide earth. This is a huge legal paper. This is number 6 out of 12 legal papers this week. Quite a few, isn't it? 31 to be exact. And every one of them is this. Plaintiff is directed to serve this order on all defendants. So ordered in the United States seal, dated January 30th, well, I think it should be 2006, friends. And it's Edward J. Lodge, United States District Judge, District of Idaho. So here goes the mailing within the hour. And what lawsuit is this? It's number 27, Omnibus. It was started on July 4th of 2005 in the United States District Court, District of Idaho, Glendora, plaintiff versus Stephen G. Toman, a town justice, Deborah E. Koch, who broke a contract, Christine Savarino, who, with Cecilia Masterilli, and Robert M. Callaghy, and Sadley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke, and Ernest C. Torres, David A. DeMarco, that's the Chief Judge and the clerk, and other clerks of the Providence Federal Court who lost $250 filing fee. Thomas McAvoy, a United States District Judge, Sandra Sotomayor, M-A-Y-O-R, that should be Regina Raji, and C.J. Hall, they are all Federal Circuit Judges. William M. Savino and Rifkin Radler, who misrepresented in Kelly versus Cablevision Systems Corporation. And it's time to sue Arthur D. Spatt again. William M. Flynn and Leonard A. Wise and all the other people on the so-called New York State Public Service Commission. Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato, Cablevision, who took a chat with Glendora down from 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. And the New York State Commission. Just a minute, that is wrong. All Jane Does, John Does, and their abettors who rob us of our blue sky with that aerosol that comes out of the jet planes, and Stephen L. Johnson and the EPA. The state of New York, its Supreme Court, its Appellate Division, and its Department, First Department, and its Court of Appeals in care of Judith K. for not letting us have cameras in the courtroom. These are the public courtrooms. Lawrence Goldman and his abettors at the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct. Boudin, the Chief Judge of the First Circuit in Boston, Lisi and Allman, a couple of judges in the Providence Federal Court, who violated the United States Code, and James Reynolds and Mid-Hudson Cablevision, and Rob Johnson and Lori Pulver and Stuart Smith and Mid-Hudson Media, who violated public access rights, Christine Severino, who violated public access rights, and Jennifer Oyella. They cut a chat with Glendora from 2 hours down to a half an hour. And also to Robert C. Grisham, the U.S. Attorney in the District of Idaho, really has no jurisdiction to represent my other federal defendants way outside the District of Idaho. Elliot Spitzer and Litsa Gotti are defendants. Edward J. Lodge is the United States District Judge in Idaho who has been assigned to this case. And the Clerk of the Court, and Brian K. Julian, Stephen Toman, a judge in Phillipstown, Putnam County, hired a lawyer to represent him in in Idaho. It also goes to McDermott and Sassauer at the Center for Judicial Accountability, a friend Arnie Engen, other friends Edward A. Whitney and Alfred LeBrun. And what paper is being served in these on these people, 30 people you just saw listed? In the United States District Court for the District of Idaho, Glendora Plaintiff versus Stephen G. Taman et al. Defendants. Case number C, Civil 05488, RJL, or EJL is Edward J. Lodge. Scheduling order, and that's what it is. With the court being fully advised in the premises now, therefore, it is hereby ordered disclosure of experts. The plaintiff shall disclose expert witnesses and the testimony of those witnesses on or before April the 3rd, 2006. Well, Glendora is the only expert on this. And experts rip the courts off and rips off the plaintiffs and with their high charges. Amendment of pleadings, joinder of parties, and pre-ADR alternate dispute resolution, that stands for in discovery. All amendments. And that has to be in by when, folks? June 16, 2006. Page 2. Alternate dispute resolution conference has to be done by August the 31st, 2006. And counsel for the parties are directed to contact MS Denise Asper at 208-334. And named party shall be present during the entire mediation process. Final discovery. All discovery shall be completed on or before October 31st, that's Halloween 2006. Pre-trial motions, if any, shall be filed with the accompanying briefs on or before November 30th, 2006, that's Thanksgiving. Okay, we're up to page 3. A referral to a magistrate judge. No way, Jose. By United States Code, Section 636, Glendora does not give her consent in writing for her case to be touched in any way by a magistrate. That is out, and I think we have made that point before. Courtroom conduct and procedure. This is all Gestapo. And violations of free speech. And we're still continuing with courtroom behavior. Gestures, facial expressions, audible comments, or the like, as manifestations of approval or disapproval during the testimony of witnesses or at any other time, is absolutely prohibited. Now that applies to the judge too. And it is signed and dated on January the 30th, 2006 by Edward J. Lodge, United States District Judge. And this took 5 hours, folks, and it cost $21.57 to print and post, and it will be served right now. And our prayer for all of these people is that they walk in the Spirit. This comes from Galatians. Chapter 5, verse 16. Walk in the Spirit. Fill not with the lusts of the flesh. Do the things that you would do, and not anything contrary. Be led by the Spirit. Take out the uncleanness, the hatred, the contentions, the outbursts of wrath, the selfish ambitions, and let them have joy in the spirit of love and kindness and goodness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control. All of these people. The teenagers asked their parents what they would like for their 20th anniversary, and the parents said, we would like our own telephone. Here it is, the U.S. Post Office, and they have been posted.
Pardon?
I'm talking to my camera.
Oh.
We mailed the renewals. They are on their way on the 14th of February. This is a vegan strawberry milkshake. Can you see anything down in there? Well, what it is Rich's coffee creamer, frozen. And you cut the package open with a bread knife. And you put that in your blender. And you put a package of strawberries in your blender. And then you put a pint of tofuti. Tofuti is soybean ice cream. There are no animal products in any of this. And I'll tell you, it is one delicious milkshake. There it is, bread for Valentine's Day. Tofuti, Rich's coffee creamer, and a bag of strawberries. 2 years ago, God and I became partners. It is so grand that I'm trying hard to show you the secret of how to become a partner with God. February 14th, 2006, Partnership Day. Valentine's Day, United States District Court. District of Idaho, Glendora Plaintiff versus Stephen G. Taman, a town court justice, Phillipstown, Putnam County, Deborah E. Cobb, who breached a contract and caused this action, and Christine Savarino and Cecilia Mastrovilli, who exercised extortion and got Deborah to breach the contract with Glendora. Robert M. Callaghy, Cablevision's liar for hire, Sadley, Stevens, Burke and Burke, Park Avenue. Ernest C. Torres in the Providence Court, and David A. DiMarzio, the clerk, and another intake clerk, McCabe, and somebody named Flanders, and they all lost $250 filing fee in a federal court. Thomas McAvoy, United States District Judge. Sandra Sotomayor, Regina Raji, and Peter Hall are circuit judges, Second Circuit. Savino and Rifkin and Radler are the Cablevision liar for hire in Long Island. They misrepresented public access and did public access a great deal of harm before Arthur D. Spat. And by the way, it's time to sue Arthur D. Spat again. So we'll add him to Omnibus 28. This is Omnibus 27. William M. Flynn and his pack of violators of the public's right to, well, the New York State Public Service Commission. Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato, who cut a chat with Glendora from 10 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. When Glendora had that spot since 1993 and was entitled to it for the rest of her life. This violates first come, first serve. All Jane Does, John Does, and their abettors who rob us of our blue sky. That's the aerosol that comes out of the jets, and it's a vicious, malicious, and intentional poison, ethylene dibromide. And Stephen Johnson and the Environmental Protection Agency, the state of New York, its Supreme Court, its Appellate Division, its Department, First Department, and its Court of Appeals, in care of Judith Kaye, Chief Judge of New York, Lawrence S. Goldman, and his pack of violators of the New York State Constitution, which protects you against bad judges. These people in the New York State Commission of Judicial Conduct fail utterly and have for years. And ask Elena Sansar. Bodine, Chief Judge of the First Circuit in Boston, Mary M. Lisi, and Lincoln D. Allman, a couple of judges in Providence Federal Court who violated the U.S. Code as to a magistrate, James Reynolds, and Mid-Hudson Cablevision, and Rob Johnson, and Lori Pulver, and Stuart Smith, and Mid-Hudson Media, incorrigible violators and fugitives. They just refuse motions when the motion is in default against them, and so they're just hopelessly gone. That's all. They're getting what they asked for. Christine Savarino and Jennifer Oyala, who, among other things, cut a chat with Glendora from 2 hours down to half an hour. There again, that's violation of first come, first served. No cable operator shall exercise editorial control over public access, and a few other public access rights. Now then, folks, you remember that Glendora made a motion for default judgment on all defendants excepting Sotomayor, Hall, Peter Hall, and Regina Raji, the three circuit judges in the Second Circuit, and also Stephen Tuman, the town justice in Phillipstown, Putnam County, in the ECOG case. Well, she gets an opposition from the United States Attorney for the District of Idaho, an assistant U.S. attorney. His name is Grisham, G-R-I-S-H-A-M. And now, here is Glendora's SIR reply that the defendants are in default and that Glendora is entitled to judgment by default pursuant to Rule 55, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. And Glendora says, how come a U.S. attorney, how can a U.S. attorney represent anybody outside of his district? Can you figure that one out? He's representing these three judges in the Second Circuit in Manhattan. He's representing Bodine down in Boston. He's representing Lisi and Allman and Torres et al. Down in Providence, Rhode Island. Just tell me how a United States District Attorney can go outside of his district and represent somebody. I mean, prima facie, that's stupid, isn't it? So this is the fourth time that Glendora has asked Robert Grisham this question, and 3 times he has eschewed the answer. Glendora demands statutory authority, federal, analog to Carmody weight proof of authority to represent. First of all, I have seen no statement by these judges that they have appointed him. I have seen no proof of that at all, and I've asked for it 3 times. Now, second, I don't see any statutory authority where he is allowed to represent people outside of his own district. Glendora demands not just to see the statutory authority, but in addition proof in defendant's own hands that they consented in writing, analogous to Title 28 U.S. Code 636. He led off with New York defendants Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall, and then out of the blue, like the poison out of the aerosol jets, Grisham addends Bodine, Torres, Lisi, Allman, McAvoy. McAvoy is a U.S. judge in Binghamton Federal Court. DiMarzio, McCabe, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Blithely does he this with no documentation. At his last paper, he claimed that the EPA had its own counsel. Now this paper, he, sua sponte, coddles the EPA under his umbrella. No matter what follows in this case, it may be nullified by this abduction of Glendora's defendants. Now, Glendora says, in spots, factual background is not. He starts his paper off with factual background. And let me tell you, folks, it is not. The last page of this is being printed. That's you hear the copy machine in the background. Glendora did asseverate under penalty of perjury that she served the Environmental Protection Agency. See the last 6 pages of her complaint. She said, let's see folks, hold it. She said she served all defendants. And the complaint and 2 sets of the waiver to waive the cost of serving a summons, and the self-addressed stamped envelope. Assistant U.S. Attorney is wrong. All of this complies minutely with Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 4D. Further, Rule 4D goes by the date of service and not by the date of filing. I served it on November 26th and they filed it on November 28th. I'll read the waiver form. The date of service was November 26th and defendants had 30 days to answer. That is December 26th. With no proof of authority, conclusorily, Grisham said defendants Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall would waive service of the summons if Glendora would serve Grisham. Well, these 3 defendants had already been served the right way. They'd been served the complaint pursuant to Rule 4D, and Glendora protested their circumvention of Rule 4D. This is one of Glendora's and adjuncts, you folks, join me in this, one of our major complaints against the federal judiciary today. Instead of following the laws that Congress makes, they massacre them and try to make the laws instead of letting the legislators make them. Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall should have simply signed the waiver and dated it and conformed with Rule 4D. Grisham states he is an authorized agent, quote unquote. Well, where is the authorization? By Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall. Where is the statutory authorization? And now Grisham is up to dates in January, seriously way beyond the 30-day clock of December 26th. But Glendora accepted Toman, Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall through default judgment. You remember that, right? And again, Grisham federal and failed to show statutory authority or authority from the defendants that he had jurisdiction to represent defendants outside of Idaho. Erstwhile, until he does, all the defendants, other than the 4 exceptions, are in default. Further, until the procedures and until Grisham produces these 2 authorizations, even Sotomayor, Raji, and Hall may be in default. Default is serious business. The judgment that Glendora got because the defendant's default was being collected by the Westchester County Sheriff. This caused the defendant to place a $5,000 undertaking into the White Plains City Court. Did you realize that? Cablevision came up with $5,000. They didn't pay it to me, but they put it in the court. We did it, folks. All their hoop jumping and all their calisthenics, they didn't get over it. They lost. And so, they capitulated, and they put $5,000 in the White Plains court. The Idaho court was wrong to grant extension of time to Grisham. Glendora was never given her day in court to oppose, and this was rank denial of due process of law. Glendora repeats that no matter what happens in this litigation, these matters will rear their ugly heads again, and the foundation on sand will crumble. Here's a couple of pages of Grisham's paper. I showed you the first, there's the second. So court, says Glendora, Grisham's factual background is not. It is not factual. Glendora informs all present that she will save up the fee to take this case to the United States Supreme Court if need be. Listen to this, folks. It is an interesting action. Here we have a United States district judge telling other U.S. district judges all over the country what to do. And even telling circuit judges, the next court up, what to do. Isn't that interesting? And then Glendora says maybe somebody will have a U.S. district judge ordering the United States Supreme Court judges what to do. In the feds, there's only 3 courts. There's the district court, that's the lowest court, and the appeals court, and the U.S. Supreme Court. So here we have a United States district judge in Idaho ordering all these judges, other U.S. judges, what to do. Isn't that funny? And there's even ordering circuit judges what to do. In his last paragraph, page 2, Grisham fails factually. So, where were we? We were saying that the U.S. Attorney forgot to mention Toman. And insert also that the rule is one asks the plaintiff first for an extension of time, then you ask the judge. You ask the plaintiff first if the plaintiff will give you an extension of time, and if the plaintiff says no, then you go to the judge. You don't go to the judge first, and that's what this U.S. Attorney did. You can see what's going on here. He's trying to beat the clock. They got at it late. They got at the default late. And so they're just cutting all kinds of corners and thinking they're going to get away with it. And then the judge doesn't give me a chance to oppose the extension of time. Don't you see what they're up to? It's all fixed. Add to this that no good cause was shown for being able to do a 30-day job in 120 days was proffered. Why do they need 120 days to answer a complaint? I answer a complaint in a week or 2 weeks. Grisham's factual background is missing more than a few facts. And Glendora has never known yet an assistant U.S. attorney to not commit 18 U.S. Code section 1001, which is, remember folks, misrepresentation, lying, covering up of material fact. She has a court account on one U.S. attorney, 4,000 times he lied, 4,000 and a few more. But I kept track of all of his lies and I listed them all. And it amounted to 4,000 in one case. Now, New York assistant attorney generals are in the same numbers. They have cheapened the process shamelessly and gracelessly. He wants to, instead of calling the defendants by their names, he wants to call some of them the federal defendants and some of the others the federal judicial defendants. Well, I object to that. They have names, use their names. Because this gives him more opportunity to cover up and misrepresent. Plaintiff argues that she is entitled to default judgment because the federal defendants did not respond to the complaint within 60 days. Prima facie. And so they go and they find a loophole. And the time within which the federal defendants must respond to the complaint has not expired, he says. So he jumps in there and finds a loophole. We're up to page 11. Glendora says all of this is overridden by Grisham's claim that he represents them, and they all have chosen to waive cost of serving a summons. They all have acknowledged the lawsuit. But they didn't long after their clock sounded the alarm. And then he goes into more minutiae of the Rule 4B service law. And then down in a footnote, Grisham, the U.S. Attorney in Idaho, the federal defendants do not intend that this response be considered a motion to dismiss under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B. They're up to something. They don't want to dismiss the case. Why? The federal defendants expressly reserve their right to file a motion to dismiss and to assert all defenses enumerated in Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12B, which is, they're going to say, Glendora has not stated a claim upon which relief can be granted, which is an out-and-out lie. Well, Glendora says this is a disjointed footnote. An integrated paper should be written whether or not the integrity is there. If this is important, then why is it relegated to a footnote? Glendora is pleased that at last federal judges and clerks will defend on the merits. instead of fleeing as fugitives, as Bodine and maybe 50 others have. I don't know how many federal judges I've sued. Sometimes I think it's 200, sometimes I think it's 100, sometimes I think it's 60. I never had time to count it up. But all these federal judges have fled. Well, most of them. Very few of them have come to court and faced the allegations against them. Glendora goes on to answer Grisham's picking in the law, and I just don't see the relevance. Nor is there in the record authorization by any defendants that they authorize Grisham or that the statutes authorize Grisham to represent non-Idaho defendants. Okay? They keep dodging that, folks, and I'm going to keep after them and keep after them and keep after them. Now, where are we? We're up to page 13. 15 and 16 are being printed over there. The inevitable backs down. After he makes his point, he says, even if, which shows you that he didn't have much of a point. Even if it is assumed the waiver of service by the federal judicial defendants removed the requirement of service upon the United States Attorney and the Attorney General, and service is complete without the filing of the waiver, the federal judicial defendants moved for an extension of time. There again, did the judge give me an opportunity to oppose it? No, the judge ruled on it. Just like that. The judge denied due process of law. So what good is it? It's a bogus order. The moved for an extension of time before their responses to the complaint were due. And Glendora's yes, but illegally, and with no just cause shown. They gave no cause shown why they needed 120 days to answer. The federal judicial defendants mailed plaintiff a waiver of service on January 19, 2006. Well, he keeps going by those days, but Rule 4D states the day of service, not the day of filing. The day of service was November 26th, Thanksgiving week. But with what authority, Glendora wants to know. Face it, it was a desperate, rushed up, hurried try to make it. Hook or crook. This is obvious to everyone, and here we come procedurally to the circuit court. And Glendora says, at the expense of being repetitious. A, Glendora should have been asked first instead of going to the judge for an extension of time. B, the court should have given Glendora time to oppose. C, her due process of law should not have been violated. And, again, what authorization proof and documentary proof did Grisham have to represent defendants outside of his district? And again, what statutory authority did Grisham have to represent my defendants outside of his jurisdiction? My point there is two things. He never showed me any authorization, any documents that these defendants asked him to represent them. That's one. And he never showed me any reason why he was able to represent these defendants who are outside of his district, the District of Idaho. And then he says the EPA wasn't served. And Glendora says, face it like an American. The last four letters are, I can. American, I can. Okay. I'll go over and get pages 15 and 16. It's a wonderful copy machine. It's worked all afternoon on this. By now, what Grisham, the U.S. Attorney in Idaho, is saying is rhetoric. Please apply 42A through E, which I just read to you. Please apply 42A through E, super. And now, do you want to see Grisham's signature? I think there's something that's missing in that signature, just as there is in the paper he proffered. Grisham did not list all parties in his caption. Now this is his third paper, and his first paper should have listed all parties. The same applies to the court. The judge's order granting him an extension of time did not list all parties. It's a rule that the first paper out of court has to list all parties. Nor did Grisham serve all parties. He served me, but he didn't serve all parties. The same thing with the judge. On his order granting Grisham the extension of time, the judge did not serve all parties. The judge's first paper out of court has to list all parties. Grisham does not change Glendora's mind. It is so much shuck for so little nib. And Glendora does not have to answer any of Grisham's papers until he serves them by regular mail, and he has failed thrice to do so. Always remember that. They serve you by certified mail, return receipt requested. If they serve you overnight mail, the law is you will have to also serve by regular first-class mail. And Grisham has failed to do this 3 times. So I don't have to read his papers until they're served on me by regular first-class mail. Glendora says that denial of this motion, if the judge denies Glendora's motion for default judgment, this is an appealable order. And that instantly takes the jurisdiction of this case out of the Idaho court and puts it into the circuit court. Okay, let's go over and get the last page, and let's start running this page some more. And I'm going to tell you some jokes when we finish this. A fortiori. That's a beautiful word. A fortiori. So with the greater force, all the more, even more certain and necessary, Glendora's motion for default judgment pursuant to Rule 55 Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, as written, must be granted, together with all the relief sought in her complaint and any further relief just and proper. Dated February the 14th, 2006, State of New York. Yours in truth and in amor patriae and amor New York I, Glendora. Opus 1352, 1352. It took 6 hours and it cost $41.61, and the estimated internet is 4,260-6, 6th edition. Let's see if I get this right. I never do. And 4,261 edition 7. And this will be served tomorrow, February 15th, by first class mail. The camcorder's battery needs some charging. Mine doesn't, but let me stop and do that, and then I'll tell you the jokes. So Harry went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Harry, you must not shovel snow. You will have a heart attack." And so Harry went home, and he said, "Son, will you shovel the snow?" And his son said, "Yes, Dad, I'll start immediately." That gave Harry a heart attack. Now God made man, right? God made man. Then he looked him over. And God said, "I can do better than that." And he made woman. There were earthquake tremors, and Bob and Joan decided to send their young son deep into the interior with an uncle where the son would be safe. The next day, they got a telephone call from the uncle, which said, "I'm returning the boy. Send the earthquake." Teenagers asked their parents, "What do you want for your 20th anniversary?" And the parents said, "Our own telephone." Two little boys riding on the escalator, one said to the other one, "What happens when the basement fills up with steps?" And the same little boy said, "My aunt got a new apartment. I think they call it a pandemonium." Paul said, "We named our son after my wife's father." "Well, that's nice." "What did you name him?" "Paul." And the preschool teacher was telling the little children, "At least, children, we all have something we can be thankful for. We are free." And a little boy says, "I am not free, I am for." You heard about the couple who had identical twin girls, and they named them Kate and Duplicate. The lawyer says, "It gives me a grand and glorious feeling to dispense legal advice." And his client says, "You're right. Give him a grand and he feels glorious." Two cars collided. And a third car pulled up. Another man got out, and he said, "I saw the whole thing happen. I'm a lawyer. I'll take either side." And if you can't get a lawyer who knows the law, then for heaven's sakes, get one who knows the judge. And the lawyer said to the judge, "I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence." The judge says, what's the new evidence? And the lawyer said, I just found out my client has another $10,000. Well, let's go over it and copy page 16. Now, folks, I got these pure thoughts from Galatians. Galatians, the 5th chapter, 16th verse. Walk in the Spirit. That's what we have to do. And we have to pray that all of these people that we're suing here, that they walk in the Spirit. That's the best thing that could happen. Well, how do you walk in the Spirit? Well, before you start walking in the Spirit, the first thing in the morning is you go alone and you have your alone time with God. And you begin to feel all that wealth and all that strength and all that power and all that richness and all that satisfaction and that joy. That's the first jump on it. Then when you start to walk, you count pure thoughts. And here are some pure thoughts. We should do the things that we want to do and stop doing the things we don't want to do. And we should be led by the Spirit. And we should get rid of all uncleanness. No negative thoughts, no second level thoughts, no trivial thoughts, no ugly thoughts. Think about the moon. The moon has been spectacular. And the weather today was spectacular for February, 45 degrees. And the sunrise this morning at 7 o'clock was brilliant, and it's going to be the vernal equinox very soon. 4 weeks. When the daylight equals the nightlight. And Paul says in Galatians, without contentions and without outbursts of wrath and without selfish ambitions, divisiveness, and he says the fruit of the Spirit is love. That's a nice pure thought to say 100 times. Joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. You can find the Holy Grail. You remember the night? King Arthur's round table? Seeking the Holy Grail? You can find it. And this is what you want. It's everything you want. It's all the wealth you want, the big cars, the big house, the prestige, rich, famous, popular, successful, great, respected, praised, applauded, admired, cheered. It's everything. The secret there, of course, is that when you're one with God, you don't care about those things. But you can have the Holy Grail. Think about that while you're working. Not using your head for anything, just using your hands. Here's a good pure thought. Live in the Spirit. I'm sorry about the Pacetos. They failed to get a chat with Glendora on TV in Great Barrington. So we'll have to go over there. I believe it was Henry Thoreau, Walden Pond, who said, if you want something done, do it yourself. So let's sing all these people in Idaho a hymn, and all these judges all around the country who have been sued. Let's sing them a good hymn. What one do you want to sing? By the way, do you want a happy book? That will help you very much on your meditation the first thing in the morning. Call for a free Glendora Happy Book. Here's a great hymn. God of our fathers, whose almighty hand leads forth in beauty all the starry band of shining worlds in splendor through the sky, our grateful song before thy throne arise. I think of that in the morning. What's the morning star? Tell me what it is, would you please? Is it Jupiter? Is it Saturn? It's in the morning, just before sunrise, over in the east. What is it for? For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Keep the courage flaming, folks. Remember to be kind to animals. Remember to lead people to be perfect. And remember to sue judges when they break the law. Glendora, chat with Glendora on 52 TV stations, including Washington, D.C., and including Maryland Public Access. It seems that George McDermott has said the right thing to these people. And now a chat with Glendora is being cablecast in the nation's capital. 18 times this month or next month or something. 18 times. Half an hour show. And George reports that the rebels of Maryland Public Access TV in Prince George's County are doing their job and putting on 2 programs of Chat with Glendora, and I'm going to get Glendora a permanent time slot. So apparently, George McDermott, you were saying the right things. And I think I know what that is. And here it is, another day, and more thanks, and the glory of the rising sun. And here is the U.S. Attorney, Idaho, on 27, and it's all collated. Next is the envelopes job. 31 envelopes. And you some pure thoughts for you. First of all, why are Bob and Joan the perfect couple? He's a pill and she's a hypochondriac. Here's some pure thoughts for you. Stewardship. Say that over and over again today. Stewardship. You're a steward. Riches of the glory. Oh, that's nice. Riches of the glory. Do you have a pen? Something to write on besides the dust on the desk? Teaching every person in all wisdom. Isn't that great? You know what the wisdom is? The secret. Present in every person. Perfect. Present in every person. Perfect. To this end, labor. Works in you mightily. Oh, you're all set for the day. Here's something else that would cheer you up. This little puppy dog loves you. Folks, you remember Omnibus 26 lawsuit that was filed in Providence, Rhode Island? And the federal court law chief judge of the 4th Circuit in Richmond, Virginia. Joel M. Flom, the chief judge of the 7th Circuit, and the obnoxious Gino J. Agnello. And no fugitive fugitivism, boys. No fugitivism, boys. You've been sued. Daniel Dominguez, terrible judge, and his amanuensis in Puerto Rico, federal judge. These are the defendants of Omnibus 26. Arthur D. Spat and his ghostwriter, who is Jeffrey Amato, and in the Eastern District of New York in Suffolk County, Long Island, and David Rockefeller Bank. And remember, they took $100 out of my account, a violation of due process of law, and I sued them and they put it back in. David Jackson and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, and Manager Sue, she did it in Patterson, New York. She's gone. Carlos Gutierrez and Kellogg's, North America, Kellogg's Cornflakes, and they are the ones who ruined Worthington Foods. We used to have Wham, and it was so good, and we used to have fried chicken, that was good, and we used to have grillers, and that was good, but they ruined it. And the Attorney General of the State of New York, Elliot Spitzer and Monica Connell, for lying and misrepresentation. Those are the defendants in Omnibus 26, Glendora versus the David Rockefeller Bank. And it was in Providence, Rhode Island. And it was ruined by Lisi, a judge named Lisi, and another judge named Allman, both of whom violated the United States Code. So folks, we get this from the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit in Boston. And it says, notice of default and intent to dismiss, order of the court, instant order of the court, baloney, it's an order of the court. Where's the judge's signature? Hoax. And it says that by order, November 14th, 05, the clerk of this court notified you that the appellant's brief was due to the Court of Appeals on December 27th, 05. The appellant is presently in default as to this filing. It is ordered that if the brief is not received in the clerk's office on or before February 15th, 06, this appeal will be dismissed in accordance with Local Rule 45A. Well, it's a big lie. It's a whole great big lie. I never appealed. And we have told them that how many times that I never appealed. So, this has to go out to our judge in Idaho, where these people are defendants. And it was received by Glendora February 9, 2006, and was memo endorsed by Glendora to United States District Judge Lodge in Idaho. And Glendora says, Glendora never appealed this action. This abominable order of the Providence, Rhode Island Federal Court. That's where the abominable order was made, in the district court, and Glendora never appealed it. Glendora has told the First Circuit this 5 times. And she told Circuit Executive Gary Wendt this over the phone. She wrote him a letter. First Circuit Bodine is a chief judge and a defendant in Omnibus 27, which is in Idaho. First Circuit Bodine cannot produce a notice of appeal signed by Glendora because she never signed one. Let him produce a notice of appeal. Bodine cannot produce a $250 filing fee by Glendora because Glendora never appealed. It's pretty nice out, isn't it, huh? Pretty nice, huh? Isn't it pretty nice, huh? Yeah, in February, mid-February. Here we are outdoors. Oh, he's sharpening her claws on my knee. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. Nor can this dysfunctional court, quote unquote, meaning the First Circuit Court of Appeals, Federal Court of Appeals in Boston, produce a $250 filing fee by Glendora, nor an informer pauperis, where I applied as a poor person to waive the cost of this lawsuit. And here, they do this also with Omnibus 24 lawsuit filed in Puerto Rico. Glendora versus the David Rockefeller Bank, Omnibus 26. That was Glendora versus James L. Dolan, Cablevision. Glendora has never seen a circuit court serve all appellees, and they did. Let me show you this, folks. Wait a second, they aren't appellees, they're only defendants. Because Glendora never appealed. Glendora never gave them the status of being appellees. Those are the defendants I just read you. There's two more. I'm lost at the top of this page. Glendora's never seen a circuit court serve all appellees. First Circuit Bodine did the same with Omnibus 24, Glendora versus James L. Dolan et al. In Puerto Rico, with that phony, trumped-up appeal. Here Bodine is, now listen, this is Bodine, the Chief Judge of the First Circuit in Boston. He is already in the middle of being sued in the Idaho Federal Court. And right under the nose of the Idaho judge, he perpetuates these violations and ineptitudes. The depravity of the federal courts is abominable. But it's just what the international bankers want. The international bankers want the courts to be totally dysfunctional. They've achieved it. Glendora served this memo on all defendants listed Wilkins through Connell. Remember now, they are not appellees. And upon all defendants, Toman through Oyala, currently before the Idaho Federal Court. Service was on February the 15th, 2006 by U.S. First Class Mail. Dated February 15, 2006. State of New York, outdoors, 50 degrees, the 15th of February. Now this is Opus 1353. It took 4 hours. It cost $8.66, and the internet number is 4262-8. Now this is Bodine, folks, the same Bodine who called Glendora an incarcerated litigant. Glendora is not incarcerated. She's never been incarcerated. So they're out to do everything they can to vilify. Bodine is, in all phases, he never knows what is going on. Well, that's that. This is by Gounod, isn't it? God made man, right? And then God looked him all over. And God said, I can do better than that. And he made woman. The doctor said to Harry, Harry, you mustn't shovel snow. You'll have a heart attack. And Harry went home and he says, son, will you please shovel the snow? And his son says, yes, Dad, I'll start immediately. That gave Harry a heart attack. There were earthquake tremors, and Bob and Joan decided to send their young boy into the interior to be safe with an uncle. The next day, they got a telephone call from the uncle saying, I'm returning the boy, send the earthquake. Some teenagers asked their parents, what do you want for your 20th anniversary? And the parent says, we would like our own phone. Two little boys were standing on the escalator, and they were looking and looking and looking at it. And one of them said to the other, what happens when the basement fills up with steps? That same little boy said to his friend, my aunt just got a new apartment. It's what you call a pandemonium. Peter said, we just named our son after my wife's father. Oh, that's very good. What did you name him? Pop. Did you hear about the young couple who had identical twin girls? And they named them Kate and Duplicate. And the nursery school teacher said, children, there's something for which we all can be thankful. We are all free. And the little boy says, I am not free. I am poor. The lawyer says, it gives me a grand and glorious feeling to dispense legal advice. And his client says, right, you give him a grand and he feels glorious. Two cars collided. A third car pulled up. A lawyer got out. A man got out and said, I saw the whole thing happen. I'm a lawyer. I'll take either side. And if you can't get a lawyer who knows the law, then for Pete's sake, get one who knows the judge. The lawyer said to the judge, I want a new trial on the basis of new evidence. And the judge says, what's the new evidence? The lawyer says, I just found out my client has another $10,000. This is Glendora, a cheerful look at life. I'll go in now and get you some pure thoughts. Because we want you to be happy and we want you to be perfect. And we're working on that. And I think we're making great progress, don't you? You know, folks, St. Paul says, he often wondered, he said, why do I do the things that I don't want to do? And why don't I do the things that I do want to do? And that's a good question to ask ourselves all day long. And that's a good pure thought. Think about that several times. I have some pure thoughts for you. They're from Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. Walk in the Spirit. Say that 100, 150 times today. Walk in the Spirit. Keep your thought away from everything unclean. No negative, second level, trivial, or ugly thoughts. And do the things that you really want to do. Stay away from all uncleanness, hatred, contentions, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, drunkenness. Remember the kingdom of God, and the fruits of the Spirit are what? Joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, greatness, self-control. Remember the Holy Grail. What knight of the Round Table was it who was seeking the Holy Grail? Was it Galahad? I don't think so. But you can have the Holy Grail. You can do that. You can be perfect. And you can have all the wealth and the health and the joy and the peace and the big houses and the big cars, and respected, praised, applauded, admired, cheered. You can have all that. You live in the Spirit. and providing for one another. Easy. Get up in the morning, spend your alone time with God, and get orientated and started right. Then every 15 minutes rejoice about something. We rejoice right now at 2:30. Is it 2:30? My watch is upside down. We rejoice right now. 50 degrees, February the 15th. Videotaping outdoors. It's a good thing that I couldn't get the backlight to work in the inside. And it forced me outdoors to get the light right. And then every 15 minutes, as I say, rejoice about something. And then count pure thoughts. Count pure thoughts. Count pure thoughts. Get up to 400 or 500 a day. That's really nothing. Keep the thought pure and send out pulses of love. Here are the people that I am praying for, to whom I am sending pulses of love. Bob Whitaker, Zabby, Albert LeBrun, Arnold Engen, Patty Gamello, Mary Dean, Elsie Rocket, Jennifer Shepard, Colette Bowen, John Sherwood, Constance Tanter, and I always pray for the animals. All present blessing animals. All present blessings continue. Pray for the animals. Stop the cruelty to animals. All present blessings continue. George McDermott says that DCTV is playing A Chat with Glendora 18 times this month, or next month, or something, on public access. And he also says that Maryland Public Access is finally going to put A Chat with Glendora on the TV, and they're going to give Glendora a permanent spot. Now it's about time. We've only been fighting this battle for 3 years. I wonder what George McDermott said to those people. Can you guess what he might have said to them? To actuate them? To actuate public access rights? Can you guess, folks? We have to rush this to the United States Post Office, but I wanted you to see Reynolds' copy before it is mailed. It all has to be served within a half an hour. When I get back, I'll explain it to you. But this is Reynolds' copy on a 9 by 12 envelope in plain daylight where everybody can see it. This is James Reynolds, Mid-Hudson Cablevision, Rob Johnson, Lori Pulver, Stuart Smith, and Mid-Hudson Media.
Yeah, she bought it.
You did?
What is that? 49017?
No, honey.
The zip code.
Let's see what it is.
Battle Creek. That's it.
Okay. It's Kellogg's. Thank you for the candy.
Sure.
Let me see what it says on here. This has been censored. Love ya. Kiss me.
Got to throw a few extra sheets of paper in here, Glendora. They're too light.
How much are they?
Extra 52 cents. They're coming up light at 39, so I have to add that surcharge because of the size.
Oh, yeah?
Just give me 4 extra clicks on the computer.
Well, you know, that would, next price up would be 63.
63, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I saved a little money.
You did. Save money, I get more work. That's how it works here.
Really? I told everybody how you came from Buffalo and you remembered Franklin's byline.
Yeah?
Well,
I delivered that paper for a long time.
a long time. Kenmore.
I delivered that one. I delivered the Tonawanda News also.
I saw Jack Van Buren yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How's he doing?
Oh, he's doing fine. He's very happy there. He likes it there.
Good for him. I like it here. Did you meet our new postmaster?
Bill?
Yep.
Yeah. He seemed to know me.
Did he?
For some reason. Bill Salmon. And it was so funny to see him waiting on a customer and asking Nancy, the newcomer, how to do money
Yeah,
orders.
he's never really done a pause. I was with him the other day. He did his first pause transaction, which is funny because he's been in charge of some big offices.
Yeah?
Yeah, but up there, he was up in Clifton Park
Oh, that's big.
and Rensselaer.
Yeah, those are
For quite a
big.
few years, both offices, just as an OIC filling in. But up in those offices, postmasters can't go near the machines.
Really?
Yeah.
So he comes
A
down
lot of
here?
big union issues with it.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually enough clerks that some of the clerks are
Yeah, you
have
might-
higher titles in, as far as supervising.
You might
that
know.
it, or are we going with
That's
these
that on
two?
that one.
All right.
And I think I'd like a separate receipt on that, please.
Okay, that was $5.72.
Okay, here you go. Wait, I think I got change. You want to hear today's joke?
Is that the only thing you have?
Yeah.
Can I take her ahead of you before we
Yep.
start these two?
572?
572, correct. You got the quarters too?
Nope. That's what I'm going to get from you. Thank you.
All right, quarters.
Okay, you may go ahead of me.
Thank you.
You may take one giant step. Thank
You
you.
already had all the packaging, right?
That's a pretty package.
Got it right there.
Oh, really?
Okay, priority mail, 2 to 3 days is 605. For your priority or parcel post rate is showing 7 days going to Nevada. Could take longer for 473.
I'll take the $6 one. I'll splurge.
Good price for a little over $1. You want delivery confirmation or insurance? It's a gift. You're gonna get a phone call when it gets there, right?
Yep. Baby shower.
Oh yeah. Lots of babies. Everybody in my neighborhood's pregnant.
He's had 5 of them.
Well, not me personally. My wife. 605.
So I'll tell you today's joke. The doctor said to Harry, you mustn't shovel snow. You'll have a heart attack. And Harry went home and he says, son, will you please shovel the snow? And his son says, yes, Dad, I'll start immediately. And that gave Harry a heart attack.
What are we doing on these, Glendora?
First class.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
These are heavier, right, please?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Lots of money.
I can whip through these.
Thanks, Sue, for the candy. I
Yeah,
miss
she's
you.
good up here, isn't she?
Sue hasn't gone to Stuyvesant Falls yet?
I think she goes Friday.
No. At last?
Yep.
I think we waited for this year and a half. And Leanne's a postmaster here now?
That's right, yep. And she was a clerk here for like 6 years.
Here?
Yeah.
I remember from Columbiaville.
Yep. She went from being a clerk here up to Columbiaville. So she's coming back. She knows the office.
Yeah, she's good.
So that's good for everybody, you know.
You can put in for one pretty soon, can't you?
Probably a couple of years down the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Where's
usually-
Dennis?
What's that?
Where's Dennis?
He's on vacation this week.
I thought he was through vacation.
Today was his last day. He'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's going to be out on the route again.
I hope so. Because you know that new
They-
person on the route won't pick up my mail and bring it back to the post office.
Who's that, Beth?
I don't know who it
Yeah, that's Beth. She's pretty good.
is. No, she won't pick up my mail.
Where are you leaving it?
In the post, in the
box?
in the box. The what do you call? What do you call it? The mailbox?
You leaving the flag up for her?
Yeah. So I'm glad Dennis is back on the route.
I find that hard to believe that she would. What is it, just letters?
Yeah, letters. And then she brought back a tape, I believe. You know, the tapes that I sent out.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, because well, if it's over a pound, you have to
No,
actually
it wasn't
present
over.
that.
Anyway, Dennis would have taken care of it. So, God made man, right? Right?
I'll be glad when they print these stamps for these. God made man, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be glad they print the stamps for this. That's stupid to go up on the rate and not have the stamp.
I know.
Um,
Okay,
all right, God made man. He made Adam, and he looked him all over, see? From head to toe, he looked him all over. And then God said, I can do better than that. So he made a woman. I just told Michael a joke and he didn't laugh.
Excuse me?
I just told Michael a joke.
Oh, he didn't
So
laugh?
I'm going to tell you.
I chuckled a little bit.
Yeah, just
Not
chuckle.
feeling
But you will really laugh.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, God made man. He made Adam, right?
Yeah.
And then he looks him all over,
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
from head to toe.
I hate this place.
And then God said, I can do better than that. So he made a woman. How much are these, honey? $1.11? 87? Is that all?
Oh, the machine is being, is
Yes.
a pain in the butt.
Yep, and that means I gotta... I hate this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, you
No
know,
PVI printing.
and you're
for
not
this,
feeling
so I have
well
to-
either. I can tell.
What is this? All right, let's see if we got it.
Good.
I hope so.
I hope so. Good.
I did not want to cancel out and figure that one out after
Think what a
so many of
long,
these.
think what a long receipt this is going to be.
This is not the one. I did one day, there was over 300 flats the guy brought in. I said, I can't sit here and do 300 of those. Sure you can. I said, why don't I just sell you the stamps for that? No, you can do it.
Oh,
I said, you know how long it's going to take me? I got all day. I said, but the people coming in line behind you aren't going to have all day.
And then
And
he
if I
said,
start that, he says, we'll be all right. Go ahead.
oh. Well, was he
And so
your,
did you?
was he
Yeah, I did it. I told
300 flats?
Got over 300 flats. I said, I might get some of them done, but you know what? I got them all done. Nobody had to wait.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was flying.
which,
Oh, you poor.
which post office was that?
Right here. And Sue
What's
had
a
a ton
flat?
of stuff. One of these.
A flat is what this is? Called a
Yeah.
flat envelope?
Yeah, I kept saying they're all the same weight. No, a couple of them are different. I said, maybe 2 out of that whole pile. I said, pull them out, I'll check the postage on them. He didn't want to put stamps on them. That was what it was. What do we got?